Whispers of Area 51. The Price of Element 115. Chapter 1, Journey to the Desert and Entry into S4. A Physicist in Nevada. The year is 1988. Location, Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas is the capital of neon lights, casinos, and superficial entertainment. But just beyond the city's bright lights lies a vast, silent, and dark desert. And this desert hides the deepest secret of the United States. This story is a journey into the heart of that secret. This story is Bob Lazar's story. Bob Lazar was no ordinary scientist. He was a brilliant but unconventional physicist who built his own jet-powered car and specialized in pyrotechnics. He had worked at Los Alamos National Laboratory but had grown tired of the bureaucracy. His life changed with a seemingly ordinary job advertisement he saw in a newspaper, followed by a series of bizarre interviews. The company hiring him was EG&G, a major defense contractor, but the interviews were not for a normal engineering position. The questions were strange, and the security background checks were unbelievably deep. Lazar initially thought he would be working on an advanced military propulsion system. Perhaps a new stealth aircraft, or a secret weapon developed against the Soviets. But what awaited him in the desert was technology beyond the Cold War. Janet flights and the bus to nowhere. When he was hired, Lazar was told the first and most important rule: don't ask questions, just do what you're told. Lazar's routine commute to his new office began in a special section of McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas, far from the civilian terminals. Here, there was a private terminal belonging to EG&G. He and the other employees boarded white Boeing 737 aircraft that carried no airline logos, only a red stripe on the tail. These flights were known as Janet, just another non-existent terminal, flights. Absolute silence reigned inside the plane. No one spoke to anyone, everyone looked straight ahead. After a flight of about 30 minutes, the plane landed on the runway in that famous dry lake bed known on maps as Groom Lake, and popularly referred to as Area 51. But this was not Lazar's destination. This was just a transfer point. Lazar and a small group of scientists who disembarked the plane were loaded onto an old, blue military bus with windows blackened, or completely sealed, so that no one could see out from the inside, and no one could see in from the outside. The bus ride was designed to create complete disorientation. They bumped along on dirt roads. It was impossible to know where they were going or which way they were turning. This journey took about 20 to 30 minutes. Inside that dark bus, Lazar felt he was being taken toward the biggest secret of his life. S4, the base inside the mountain. When the bus finally stopped and the doors opened, Lazar found himself on the edge of another dry lake bed called Papoose Lake. This was south of Groom Lake, Area 51. The place they landed was the facility known as S4, Sector 4. At first glance, Lazar couldn't see anything. Just desert sand and a rocky mountain slope. But when he looked carefully, he realized the mountain slope was not natural. There were 9 massive hangar doors carved into the mountain, lined up side by side. These doors were camouflaged to blend perfectly with the texture and color of the desert. They were covered in sand and were almost impossible to see unless viewed from a specific angle. This was a ghost base, off the maps, its existence denied. The security measures were suffocating. There were grim-faced guards belonging to the Wackenhut security firm carrying M16 rifles everywhere. Lazar was told he could not go anywhere alone, including the bathroom, and would move with a constant, buddy system escort. The moment Lazar stepped into the facility, he realized that constitutional rights and the rules of the outside world did not apply here. First look, impossible hangars. Following orientation and security briefings, Lazar was taken to the area where he would work. The briefings were short: what you see and hear here, stays here. Otherwise, the consequences are lethal. The non-disclosure agreement he signed felt less like an employment contract and more like his own death warrant. On the first day, while walking past the hangars, Lazar experienced the shock of his life. The door to one of the hangars was slightly ajar. Lazar stole a quick glance inside. He expected to see an advanced Soviet MiG fighter or a new American stealth bomber. What he saw was not an airplane. It had no wings, no tail, no propeller or jet engine intakes. It was a flawless, smooth disc sitting on the ground, made of a material resembling matte, brushed aluminum or stainless steel. It was about 15 to 20 meters in diameter. No rivets, weld marks, or seams were visible on its surface. It looked as if it had been cast from a single piece of metal. Lazar's brain struggled to process what it was seeing. His first thought was that this was a highly secret, experimental anti-gravity vehicle developed by America. Wow, he thought, so this is the source of the flying saucer stories. We built them. This was his naivety. He didn't know the truth yet. The mission, reverse engineering. Lazar was introduced to his supervisor, Dennis Mariani. Mariani was cold, distant, and entirely focused on the mission. Lazar's task was explained to him. Reverse engineering. They were not building these vehicles. These vehicles already existed. Their duty was to understand how these craft worked. They had in their hands a machine thousands of years ahead of humanity, with no owner's manual. Lazar was assigned to the physics department. His job was to solve the vehicle's propulsion system, the power source that made it fly. In the first few days, Lazar was shown some of the craft's subsystems. Everything he saw defied the physics he knew. There were no wires. Instead, there were waveguides that conducted light. The electronic circuits were completely different from the silicon chips we know. But the greatest mystery was at the heart of the vehicle. The power source. Lazar was shown a reactor located in the center of the craft, about the size of a basketball, incredibly heavy and dense. For this reactor to work, it required a fuel not naturally found on Earth, with no place on the periodic table. They called it element 115. The weight of the secret. At the end of the first day, Lazar was put back on that dark bus, then the Janet plane, and sent back to Las Vegas. When he saw the neon lights of the city again, it felt like returning to Earth from another dimension. Normal life continued to flow, people were gambling, drinking, laughing. But just hours ago, Bob Lazar had touched non-human technology in a hangar beneath the desert. The weight of this secret settled on his shoulders from that very first night. He couldn't tell his wife Tracy anything. He couldn't tell his friends. He was now part of the world's most dangerous secret. And this secret would slowly begin to eat away at his life. In the next chapter, we will dive into the depths of Bob Lazar's work at S4. How did that disc-shaped craft he examined, the sport model, work? How did it bend gravity? And what exactly was that mysterious fuel, element 115? To further open the doors of S4, watch the second video of the series and continue this technological mystery journey with us.